Blue Train by John Coltrane. Great groovy old jazz standard. 1957 recorded, 1958 released. John Coltrane went through different periods, and I enjoy them all. It's hard to pick any favorite. I have to appreciate an artist who won't, like, say, like in a rock world, David Bowie, where he never stuck in one period or style or phase. He always progressed, and that was one thing about John Coltrane that you have to appreciate. You don't have to like it, but he was always evolving. Anyway, Blue Train. And Blue Train's great because it's blues. It's a 1-4-5 in its most basic form. John paid respect to that. It's great. It's a groove. Let's take a peek. Let's break it down now. Basically, if you're looking at the chords, as far as the the head, the main melody, you got your melody, and that's E flat 7 sharp 9, Jimi Hendrix chord. Right? Of course, that was transposed for this key. Anyway, E flat 7, sharp 9. Now the melody, however you want to play it, it's I always try to finger it differently to see if it's more comfortable, if it makes the transitions easier, the tone, if I like the sound of it better. But I've been favoring and playing like this. And that's just B flat, D flat, F, D flat, E flat. Do it twice. Then we go down to the 4 chord, the A flat, and it's basically the same intervals, just moved into the 4 chord. You do it like that, and that's E flat, G flat, B flat, G flat, A flat on the root. Back to the 1. Now for the 5 chord, and that's so you got B flat, D flat, G flat, E flat, to the D flat. Now it's interesting because you can play, it's B flat 7 sharp 9, same style as the 1, so you can play a B flat 7 there, but if you want to do the B flat 7 sharp 9 to accommodate that D flat, because it has a D and a D flat in it, so sometimes that clash when they're spaced out by the octave and not next to each other, they're not as dissonant. When you it's like when you have D and let's see, what I say, D and D flat, right next to each other, it's a little jarring. But if you move them, octaves from each other, you move one of them an octave up or down. I mean, it's still a little out there. So there's, you can do, it's fun. You play with them. But anyway, I digress. That's your 5 chord, and then back to your 1. Now, for solos, here's where the variation kicks in, and it's really cool. This is it's still in its essence a 1-4-5. There's You could, I don't know if you want to call it a substitution, a variation, whatever. So you have your and it's basically your one, so your E flat 7, A flat 7, E flat 7, 2 bars, A flat 7, 2 bars. Here's the cool part: E flat 7, C7, F minor 7, B flat 7, E flat 7, F minor 7, B flat 7 again, but just in one measure instead of one measure each. So, you know, it's pretty standard, the first half of it. When you come back to the E flat, the 1 chord, after playing the 4 chord for the 2 bars, and you can have fun, comping this. I mean, and one thing that it took me a while to realize, the more that I comped, the better I felt comfortable about playing solos. I always wanted solo, and then my chord knowledge just sucked. I was like, no wonder I would always stumble, because, well, if you know your chords, your solo is going to come. So learn your inversions, and these jazz voicings, well, jazz guitar voicing, I guess you would call them, and they're variations of, I'm sure they're derived from different keyboard voicings and move around and whatnot. But, and once again, simplicity. I'm playing 3 notes at a time, root, flat 7, third. Now do it Freddie King style, 4 on the floor, and get used to just the rhythm. A flat 7, E flat 7, A flat 7, E flat 7, C7, F minor 7, B flat 7, E flat 7. So you get 4 on the floor. There's nothing wrong with Freddie Green style. I mean, you just have your dynamics. Pay attention to. Once again, this comes down to the situation. How many people are in the band? Because how loud is the soloist playing? There's so many things to take in consideration. If you're the only guitar player and you're playing with a horn player, or if you're a guitar player and there's either another guitar player or a keyboardist. I spent so much time trying to learn what made certain keyboard voicings nice and applying them to the guitar, that when I finally got a chance to play in a combo with a pianist, I was stepping all over the pianist's right hand. Luckily, he was a nice sport about it, but when I realized it, because you have to listen. Sometimes you get your preconceived ideas and you're just going to play, and you're not, even though you know the form of the song and you're playing, are you listening to the band, listening to what's happening? And so I caught myself, and luckily keyboards didn't throw something at me, so I moved my voicings. But that was that situation. You have to listen to what's going on in the band, react to each other, play off each other. That's where the magic's at. If you're all sitting there just playing by numbers and playing what you want and making it fit with no respect to what's happening with your band members, you try to look at it as a conversation. And are you talking at each other, or are you talking with each other? you know. Um, so take that stuff in consideration. Um, so once again, you can have a lot of fun just comping. You'd be surprised at how much it's going to help you when it comes time for soloing. Now, of course, these boxes are great. But say you would have a little fun. Like, I don't know if you noticed, I was stuff like that. You can throw a little walk in there, but don't step on your bass player's toes. So watch that stuff. You might not need to do that, but so get your chords. So E flat 7, for instance. Let's see. I mean, you got you start recognizing all these. You're just going to be able to connect all that when it comes time for soloing, because you're going to because you've been playing these chords. So the solo that I did, super basic. I didn't try anything fancy. No exotic scales. Most of that stuff was, for the most part, chord tones. I did a little Mixolydian stuff here and there. And I did a little like blues major, I think, so off your E flat 7, but over a dominant 7, it's real fun to do those classic little, Stevie Ray, or so you're just playing the flat 7, or the flat third, and the 5th. So I like those, but for the most part, that stuff was all chord tones. And now, of course, after a while, you start moving around your board, right? But a lot of times when I'm like practicing a piece to get it ingrained, I will kind of practice arpeggios in time with, whether it's if I have my looper or whatever on. Try at first not to move so much, and realize that all your chords are always together. They're always in, each box has all the chords in the song. So it's super simple. Let's do E flat and just the E flat 7 there. And what's next? A flat 7, right? Back to E flat 7. So, just they're right there. You don't have to move much. So I can do that E flat 7 like this, to A flat, or they're not very far. So you get like, okay, so 1 and 2 and 3 and then maybe fall down the A flat 7. Let's start on the 5th of the E flat 7. And then your A flat 7. Back to E flat 7. Now here's, for the turnaround, the C7, right? F minor 7, B flat 7, E flat 7, F minor 7, whoops, F minor 7 rather, to the B flat 7. See, they're all right there. That was just that box, like third position. Let's look at, let's go up here a little bit, maybe 11th fret, okay? And you have your E flat 7, A flat 7, E flat 7, A flat 7, E flat 7, C7, F minor 7, B flat 7, oops, sorry, to E flat 7. And what's the last, the F minor 7? B flat 7. You know, you don't have to go all over the place. Learn all those chords together in clumps. You know, I mean, obviously there's nothing wrong with you can hear the chord change, so there's nothing wrong with that. I'm not saying don't do that. You know, if you need to go to those familiar places, there's nothing wrong with that. But I always recommend, you know, knowing where, because that's where you can come up with some phrases you might ordinarily thought of. I throw myself into these places all the time, and I mean, I'm a hack. I just, you know, it's fun. But I enjoy it. And in that search, you know, that, I don't know, roller skating, you know, down a hill, or skateboarding or surfing, whatever, you know, you don't, you know, it's one thing to run around a track. I mean, there's definitely an art form to, you know, racing a track, but you know, when you take a dirt bike out in the woods, I mean, or BMX, you know, you don't know what's around the corner. You got to react, and there's a certain excitement about that. And but there's nothing wrong with playing it safe either. You know, you mean you can't discount anything. I'm just offering some ways to approach it if, you know, you're a dumb rocker like me who appreciates jazz and wants to, you know, dip into that and have fun. It's fun. It's music, you know. I mean, it's therapy. It's all that stuff. But enjoy.